Okay, let's go.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Aiden, and welcome to Around the Rim Radio. Luka Doncic, is he actually hurt for the Los Angeles Lakers? Jalen Brown, is he actually the best player in the NBA? He seems to think so. Donovan Mitchell and the Cavaliers, are they playoff contenders? And stick around to the end of this video to find out my NBA Christmas Day game predictions. Alright, so let's get into the first part of this video. So JJ Redick says Luka Doncic is doing fine in regards to his calf injury and remains day to day. So this is obviously good news for the Lakers. From the time that I recorded my last video, I did talk about the Luka Doncic injury. We were kind of going back and forth whether it was contact or non-contact. We did get an update that it was a contact injury, which is, you don't want to see any injury happen, but this is a good injury. Good news from the injury, I mean. So he did end up suffering that left leg contusion, that left calf contusion in that video. I did not show it, but you might have seen it on social media where he kind of just turned, the defender's knee went into his calf, and then from there he was hurt and out the rest of the game. So this is good news that he's considered day to day. You're not seeing a 1 week injury, 2 week injury. So from what I'm seeing, indicators are kind of pointing that he's hoping to come back Christmas. So we will see if that is actually going to be the case with this injury. So we'll just keep an eye on it. All right, and Jalen Brown did go on to a stream, and he said that he was the best player in the NBA. So, there's definitely some news going on around that portion. So, right here, Jalen Brown says he's been the best player in the NBA. I don't care who you say right now. Ain't nobody doing it better than me right now. Let's check this video out.
To me, the same way.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that don't mean like you wrote a ball out that it's a lot of dudes that's better than me on this court. I don't care who you say right now. Ain't nobody doing it better than me right now. So it's like
Talk his shit.
it's like
So that is Jalen Brown going onto a stream, basically saying he doesn't care who you name. He thinks he's the best player in the league. Jalen Brown is an outstanding player. He has been outstanding for the Boston Celtics this year, especially with Jason Tatum out. They traded away Drew Holiday. They traded away Porzingis. They're not as strong and as deep of a team. Jalen Brown has definitely stepped up in every single aspect that you can expect him to. Defensively, offensively, he's taken more of a leader role on for this Celtics team. So, honestly, I'm going to give my honest opinion. I don't think Jalen Brown's the best player in the league. I think he's very good. I think he's great. He's going to be, a Hall of Famer in this league. He can score. He can defend. He would be a great player on a lot of teams. He would start on every team. Obviously, he is a championship level player. He won a championship with Jason Tatum. I just, I don't think he is the best player in the league. I do understand that it's going to come from him. He's going to say that. Every player is going to say that. They're going to have that confidence in them, obviously. But I just wanted to touch on it, kind of give you guys my opinions on things, because very new to this. You guys don't really know what I think. So, I just wanted to touch on this. I think Jalen Brown is really good. I think he's playing a top 10. He's playing as a top 10 player right now, top 12, somewhere in that range. I don't have, an exact pinpoint on where he is in that top 10 to 12. You can definitely mix and match him with some other of the better players in the league. But yeah, he's been very good for the Boston Celtics. And yeah, he's top 5 in the league in scoring. He's averaging, almost 30 points a game. He's at 29.4. He rebounds the ball well. He is a 6'6" guard. So 6.5 rebounds a game is pretty good. He passes decently as well. He's getting 5 assists. That's good as well, especially for the role that he has to play for the Celtics team now. He doesn't have as much offensive power to go to, so he's going to be, not passing as much. And then he's doing all of this. He's shooting, call it 29, he's scoring 29, 30 points a game on 50% shooting. That is outstanding. And you just, you go down here and you see these recent games. I mean, At Toronto, 30 points. At Milwaukee, 30. Versus Detroit, 34. Versus Miami, 30. And then versus Indiana, 31. So that is 5 games in a row with 30 points. And I mean, his shooting's very efficient. You got 47%, which is decent. 58.8%, that's amazing. 52%, that's good. 50%, that's good. And then you got 44%, which isn't horrible. But one okay shooting game and 5 great, that's awesome. And he's also doing it from the 3 point line. I mean, 75% against Toronto, 50% against Milwaukee. Not so good against Detroit. He only shot 20% there. 50% versus Miami, and then 33, which is league average just about, against Indiana. So, again, great shooting splits between the field goal and 3 point percentage. And then you go over to free throw. Perfect from the line against Toronto, 88.9% against Milwaukee. He did only shoot 50% against Detroit. He shot 90.9% against Miami and then 87.5% against Indiana. So, again, he's doing everything that you would want him to and more in terms of his shooting splits. And then he's doing it all on the boards. 8 rebounds versus Toronto, only 3 against Milwaukee, but then you got 8 versus Detroit, 9 and 9 versus Miami and Indiana. And honestly, this is just incredible. He's playing MVP level basketball right now. Jaylen Brown has been everything and more you could ask for this Celtics team with Jason Tatum being out and all the trades that they made. So it's very impressive to see Jaylen Brown do this for his team. I'm glad to see that he stepped up in a big way. I really like Jaylen Brown. So, if he keeps this up, there's no saying that he can't crack into the top 5-ish in MVP. You do have some juggernauts in there like Shea, like Jokic, like Luka, like Giannis, so will he end up in the top, 5-ish voting, top 10 for sure in the MVP voting if he keeps this up? Yeah, I don't see a real MVP case for him, but honestly, this is very impressive and way more than I thought he was going to do this year. Yeah, and then when you move over to the NBA standings here in the Eastern Conference, the Celtics are 18 and 11. They're on a 3-game win streak. They're 8 and 2 in their last 10. They are just playing phenomenal basketball, honestly. I mean, they're 10 and 5 at home, which is great. They're 8 and 6 on the road, not the best, but they're on the road. They have a 2-game advantage on the road, so you like to see it there. So they don't have a losing record either at home or on the road. They're 14 and 8 in their conference, which again is good. You want to win your conference games out, and that's exactly what the Boston Celtics are doing. All props to Jaylen Brown. Peyton Pritchard has had some big games. I think Queta is underrated. I've watched some Celtics games this season. I think Queta is a solid big man. Anthony Simons, he started off pretty good. I know he's fizzled out. I'm sure he'll have games here and there, but the Celtics would not be 18 and 11 without Jaylen Brown. He is very impressive this year, and I'm very, very interested to see how the rest of the season goes for the Celtics. Are they going to end up being a top 3 seed when it's all said and done? Maybe. The Pistons are going to finish up there. The Knicks are going to finish up there. You do have some teams that I think could start to ramp up here, like the Cavaliers. They haven't been playing the best, but I think that they can eventually, get up there. The Magic are a team to watch. I thought Desmond Bane would be a little more of an addition to their offense, but obviously not enough. They're at the 6th seed. Toronto started off very good. They have not played well recently as they're 3 and 7 in their last 10. Philadelphia, they're iffy. I'm not very high on them, just given the injuries that they're going to have and stuff. But Boston's looking very good. I mean, they're a game up on the 76ers. They're only, 3 games, roughly 3 games back, 3.5 games back of the New York Knicks. They're right there. I mean, they are chasing down the New York Knicks for sure. The Celtics could very easily end up a top 3 seed. And of course, there has been news going around that Jason Tatum could very well likely return this season. So we'll have to keep an eye on that for the Celtics. But overall, very impressed with Jaylen Brown, very impressed with the Boston Celtics, and I think that they're going to continue to roll through the East and stay afloat in the East for sure. All right. And Donovan Mitchell, he was on live, kind of like how Jalen Brown was. He was on live saying, "We're not a playoff team right now. We're not playing like it." So we're going to listen to what Donovan Mitchell has to say, and then I'll get into it.
Mentally, we got to find it. We're 29 games in. We're not a playoff team right now. We're not playing like it. We have the talent, we have the group, but we're not playing like it, and that's on the 15 of us. We have to find it collectively. It's not on just one individual.
Mitchell weaves his way inside. He lays it in.
As a group, you just got to find it. And when I say it can be some joy, it can be tactically, it can be spirit, it can be anything, bro. We just got to find it. We're at that.
All right. So Donovan Mitchell said, "We're not a playoff team right now. We're not playing like it." He's not wrong. I mean, like we just went over, we went through the Eastern standings. The Cleveland Cavaliers are down there. I believe they're the seventh seed in the East, and they went from the best team in the East last year. They dropped down to the seventh, which, in the East is not good, as the East is, not the strongest conference. So for the Cavaliers to have the same roster as last year, minus a player, to go from the one seed to the seven seed, I know the season's not over. We have a long way to go, but that's that is alarming for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell's an outstanding player. Evan Mobley is an outstanding player. I like Darius Garland. I like Jarrett Allen. DeAndre Hunter I like him a lot. And it's just kind of alarming to see that they have the same roster and yet they're this bad this early on after starting, 15-0 last year. My honest take on it is I do think the Cavaliers are a good team. I do think they'll get into the playoffs. I do think they'll win a couple series, but I just don't think they can do it with Darius Garland as their point guard, as their, so-called quarterback for this team playing the point guard position. The point guard position in the league now is those bigger guards, not Darius Garland sized guards. I mean, they're just going to get picked on defensively every single time. You look at Shea, who's what, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". You got Luka, who's 6'7", 6'8". You got Dyson Daniels, who plays some point guard. Like when Trae Young was out, he's a big guard. You just got these bigger guards in the league. And Jalen Brunson he's not the biggest, but he's a lot bigger than Darius Garland. And these guards that are these small 6'2" guards like Darius Garland, specifically in the playoffs, they're going to get found, they're going to get picked on, they're going to get scored on, and that's just what the opposing team is going to do. They're not going to run a set play. They're going to run a pick and roll, try to get that screen set, get the switch so they can have the bigger player on Darius Garland. And honestly, it's not even going to be these big point guards as, the whole time, like Luka Doncic and Shea. It's going to be anybody, any team with, if they even have like a John Collins on the Clippers, they are going to find Darius Garland and they're going to have Darius Garland guard John Collins. It's just going to happen. I think the Cavs can get into the playoffs. I think they can win a series, maybe two with Darius Garland, but I do not see the Cleveland Cavaliers going any farther than the second round. Honestly, if I had to give my bet in today, I don't see him going farther than the second round, specifically with Darius Garland as their point guard. Like I said, Darius Garland's good. I think he's a good player in the league. I think he can start around the league. I just don't think that he can be the championship guy on a team. For Donovan Mitchell, I think the opposite. I think Donovan Mitchell can be the guy on a championship team. He's not one of the first guys that comes to mind, but he is definitely a guy that I think of. I think he needs to take one half step forward, and he will indefinitely be the guy for a championship team. But I think his supporting cast around him makes him good enough to be that guy for the championship. I think Evan Mobley is a championship level starting power forward. I think Jarrett Allen is a championship starting level center. I think they got the pieces that, they have a good starting five. Like I said, I'm not low on Garland. I just don't think he is the point guard. I think you need to go get a point guard with more versatility on the defensive end than Darius Garland. Honestly, Lonzo Ball is going to be more playable in the playoffs just because he's bigger and he can defend better than Darius Garland. So, I hope he proves me wrong. I really do like Darius Garland. We'll have to see how that all plays out if they even make it to the playoffs because, they are the 7th seed, but if I had to really place my bet in, I do think they'll crack into that top 6. And as I was saying, the Cavaliers are the 7th seed in the East. They are 16-14. They're 2 games over 500, 7.5 games back from the 1 seed, 13-11 in the conference, not great. 10-8 at home, not great, and 6-6 on the road, not great, honestly. And the Cavaliers are also 4-10 in their last, 4-6 in their last 10, and they won their last game, which obviously is good there. But 4-6 in their last 10. As I was saying, as a team that went from where the Pistons are all the way down to where the Pistons were, the Pistons took a leap. That's going to be for another day. But the Cavaliers, very disappointing so far this season. I'm not liking what I'm seeing from them all around. They had a bad loss to the Heat. That one time when Donovan Mitchell hit that big 3, which was a crazy game, by the way. But they've just had some bad losses. I don't think they've been playing their best brand of basketball. I do think they can step it up. I do think they will step it up. I know that the Raptors are falling. They're going to pass the Raptors. The Magic are very up and down. I think they'll pass the Magic. I think they're going to end up somewhere in this 4-6 range. But we'll just have to see how it plans out. But in terms of Donovan Mitchell calling out the Cavaliers like that, I do think it's a good thing. I think as the guy on the team, as the leader, he needs to voice when they're doing good, but he also needs to voice when they are not doing good, and that's exactly what he's doing. The Cavaliers have to step up all around on every aspect of the floor. So we'll see how they do, after this so-called call-out. Can Evan Mobley step up? Can Jarrett Allen step up? I know he is inconsistent at times, but Donovan Mitchell's been playing good basketball. He can be inefficient at some times, but I do think that the Cavs are going to get it together. So very interested to see how they do, and we'll just have to keep an eye on it. All right, and now for my Christmas Day game predictions. So as you all know, the NBA, of course, plays on Christmas. Honestly, all the games are very good. Very little do I see some blowouts on Christmas Day. So I'm very excited to watch these games. I look forward to it. So let's get into the first one. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers at the New York Knicks. Man, I just talked about the Cavaliers on how they have to step it up, how they need to play better. Donovan Mitchell did call out the Cavaliers a little bit, telling them hey, we need to be better. But I don't think this is the game they get better. I do think the New York Knicks at home are going to take the win over the Cavaliers. I think it'll be a close game. I'm gonna go Knicks 118, Cavaliers 109. All right, next we have San Antonio Spurs at the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Spurs got them last time. Wembanyama does cause problems for the Thunder, as he does for every team. That's just going to happen. However, though, they got him last time. The Spurs got the Thunder last time. I think the Thunder are going to be seeking revenge. The Thunder are the better team, and they're at home against the Spurs. So I am going to go Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm going to go a good defensive game. I'm going to go 107-103. I think the Thunder will win that one. All right, next we have the Dallas Mavericks at the Golden State Warriors. So Kyrie Irving is, of course, out for this game. Who knows with Anthony Davis? I know he's healthy right now. He did just drop 30 and 15. But, I know Clay's been in and out. Derek Lively's actually out. And they're in Golden State. That's a hard place to play. I'm going to go Golden State with this one. I think Golden State can score the basketball very well. I think that they have a better defense than the Dallas Mavericks, with Butler, with Draymond. Who knows if Draymond's going to play? I know there was a whole debacle with him leaving the court, not playing the last 20 minutes of the game. But assuming, the Warriors are healthy and, the Mavericks are as healthy as they can be, I'm still going to lean the Golden State Warriors. I'm going to go 117 to I'm gonna go 117 to 105. I think that's gonna be a 12-point game. I think the Golden State Warriors will handle them. So, I think it'll be a decent game, but I do think Golden State's gonna come on top by a dozen. And then after that game, we move on to Rockets at my Lakers. So I'm a real Lakers fan. I'm not very biased, at times I can be, the Lakers are at home against a good Rockets team who they're very close with in the standings. Obviously, the Rockets don't have Van Fleet, but they do have Sengun. They do have Kevin Durant. Amen Thompson causes problems. Tari Eason, Jabari Smith. I mean, they got some players over there. And we are not the healthiest right now. Rui Hachimura's out. Austin Reeves, he is available now, so he should be a go for Christmas. But we got Hachimura out, Gabe Vincent out, and the big name, Luka Doncic. So I'm going to say if Luka Doncic plays, and if Luka plays, give or take Rui, I think Rui would really solidify my answer here. But if Luka Doncic does play basketball against the Rockets on Christmas, I'm going to say the Lakers win. I would say the Lakers would win 111 to 108. But if Luka Doncic does not play, I think that the Lakers will lose. I think they'll lose to the Rockets like 116 to like 103, something like that. 13, 15 point game there, because Luka Doncic is a beast when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. I think his defense has improved very well this season. Look for LeBron, and again, I could be wrong on this because LeBron James could go nuclear on Christmas. LeBron loves to play those Christmas Day games. He's going to bring it all against Kevin Durant, and he's going to bring it all and show out for his town, LA. So we'll just have to see how it goes. I think that if, obviously if someone like Luka, who is as great as him, plays versus doesn't play, that can really change the outcome of this game. So that one's a hard one, but we'll just have to keep an eye on it. And then next, and last but not least, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Denver Nuggets in Denver, in Mile High City. That's going to be a great game. That's going to be a really good game. You got Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, who's been playing very well this year, Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, and then they're going up against Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray. They got Cam Johnson over there now. That's a good team. Aaron Gordon is going to be out for this one. I have not seen the Minnesota Timberwolves injury report, but I, kind of going off this, I've been choosing the home team throughout. I think with Aaron Gordon being out, Anthony Edwards creates a lot of problems. They got Rudy Gobert, who's a great defender, and Naz Reid, a couple big bodies they can throw at Jokic. And of course, with McDaniels and Julius Randle, I think they have a lot of weapons and a lot of people you can throw at Jokic. No matter what you do, you're not going to stop Jokic. It's just a matter of making him not efficient. So I'm going to go Minnesota is going to beat the Denver Nuggets. I'm going to go 116 to 111 for this one. So I got a lot of close games kind of within the same ballpark. That's just kind of typically where I see games end up. So I think those are going to be my predictions. So I got Knicks over the Cavs, Thunder over the Spurs, Warriors over the Mavericks, Lakers over the Rockets, and Timberwolves over the Nuggets. So very good games for this Christmas Day game. I'm hoping I get a great Christmas present. I hope that the Los Angeles Lakers destroy the Houston Rockets, but we'll just have to keep an eye out on that Luka Doncic injury and see what happens there. Because like I said, someone with that much of a pull on the game, on an outcome of a game, that much pull on the offensive end can really change the outcome. So that is something that we would really have to keep an eye on. But those are going to be my predictions for the Christmas Day games. All right, everybody. I really appreciate you hopping on to Around the Rim Radio. If you don't mind, please hit that sub button down below. Hit those post notifications so every time I post a video, you get a notification. And I want you guys to leave your Christmas Day games predictions down in the comments below. And if you have any recommendations, like I said last time, on a background or a backdrop, please let me know. And if there's anything specific you'd like me to talk about, just put it down in the comments below. But yeah, I want to hear your Christmas Day games predictions. I appreciate you guys. Have a good holiday and safe travels.